My ex invited me to her wedding to show off, so I brought my new partner and stole the spotlight. I'm Noah Carter, 33, a tech entrepreneur in New York, and this is how my ex's attempt to humiliate me at her wedding backfired, showing me my own strength. I run a financial consulting firm worth millions, working out of a sleek Manhattan office with floor-to-ceiling windows, a desk cluttered with coffee cups and client contracts, and a view of the Hudson that grounds me. I live in a penthouse with my wife, Sophie, a fashion designer whose energy lights up my world. 3 years ago, my ex, Emily, dumped me, calling me unambitious. Her wedding invite wasn't about kindness. It was a ploy to flaunt her perfect life. I showed up with Sophie, turned her stage into ours, and her smugness cost her everything. It hurt, it was messy, but it made me realize what I'd built. Emily, 30, and I dated for 5 years. She craved flash, fancy dinners, big dreams, but said my startup ideas were too small time. She left me for Chris, a lawyer with a slick smile, chasing a glitzy life. I rebuilt, launched my firm, and met Sophie, 29, whose sketches and confidence fill our Tribeca loft. Wood floors, exposed brick, art everywhere. Emily's invite came with a handwritten note. "Come see how happy I am." Happy? It reeked of a setup. My best friend, Tom Larson, 32, a venture capitalist with a knack for cutting through nonsense, saw it instantly. We'd grab whiskey at a dive bar in the East Village, and he'd say, "She's baiting you, man. Show up and steal her thunder." Sophie laughed, sketching a gown in our kitchen. "Let's crash her show," she said. My colleague, Rachel Brooks, 31, nodded over client files. "You're the boss now, Noah. Show them." Growing up in our Yonkers home, a cramped split level with a leaky roof, I was always the quiet one. My parents, James, 60, a retired cab driver, and Linda, 58, a former receptionist, loved Emily back then. "She's perfect," Dad would say, his voice warm over Sunday roasts. Perfect? She was a liar. Her sister, Emma, 33, a marketing rep, spread rumors I'd tanked after the breakup. I'd moved on, big contracts, a TED Talk, a life Emily couldn't touch. My firm advised Fortune 500 companies. Sophie's designs hit Paris runways. But her note stung. Her smug, "See how happy I am," lit a fire. I almost tore up the invite. Why play her game? But Sophie's grin, Tom's push, and Rachel's "make them choke" got me. I RSVP'd yes, +1, my heart racing. Emily thought she'd parade Chris, her better catch, and make me look small. She didn't know my empire, my love, my truth. A week after the invite, Emily texted, "Bet you're still grinding in that tiny office. Chris just bought us a loft." Tiny office? My firm's midtown suite had a skyline view. I didn't reply, but her Instagram screamed setup. Photos with Chris captioned, "Winning." Winning? A mutual friend, Jake, spilled over beers. Emily and Chris fought constantly, their loft a debt-financed rental. I showed Sophie, who laughed, adjusting her custom gown on our couch. "She's faking it. Let's outshine her," Tom called from his office in Soho. "She's baiting you. Show up big." Rachel sent me a Forbes article on my firm, $15 million valuation. "Bring this," she said, "and rent a jet." A jet? Why not? I booked a private flight, ordered a bespoke suit from a tailor on Savile Row, and Sophie designed a dress that screamed Paris chic. "We'll be untouchable," she said, her eyes sparkling. Untouchable? Damn right. I called Dad, testing the waters, his Yonkers living room cluttered with old taxi logs. He'd always loved Emily. "Don't stir trouble at her wedding," he warned, his voice gruff. Trouble? She'd started it. Rachel dug deeper. Public records showed Emily owed $50,000 in credit card debt. Chris's law firm was under investigation for fraud. Their perfect life was a sham. I confronted Emma at a family dinner in Brooklyn, the air thick with pizza grease. "Heard Emily's struggling?" I said, casual. She scoffed. Jealous, Noah? She's thriving. Thriving? Her lies stank. I wrestled with it. Part of me felt bad for Emily, remembering our late-night talks, our dreams. Should I skip the wedding? Then another text from her. Hope you're okay, Noah. Alone? Alone? That sealed it. I wasn't the broken guy she left. The wedding was at a Long Island resort, all chandeliers and ocean views. Emily and Chris greeted me with fake smiles at a pre-wedding cocktail party, fairy lights twinkling. Noah, you made it, Emily said, her eyes scanning me like I was a loser. Chris, 34, clapped my shoulder. Still pushing papers? Papers, I advised CEOs. Emma chimed in. Noah, you clean up nice. For once. For once? My blood boiled, but I stayed cool, sipping champagne. Sophie arrived, a vision in her gown, turning heads. Guests whispered, Who's she? Emily's smile tightened. Your plus one? She asked, her voice forced. Sophie Hayes, I said, grinning. Designer Paris Fashion Week. Chris scoffed. Fashion, huh? Cute. Cute? Sophie's brand outclassed Emily's knockoffs. At the rehearsal dinner, Emily bragged about her fairy tale life, glancing at me. Some people settle, she said, smirking. Settle? I owned half of Manhattan's consulting game. Ryan, a mutual friend, laughed. Noah, still in that cubicle? Cubicle? I was a CEO. Dad pulled me aside, his eyes tired. Don't ruin her day, son. Ruin? She'd invited me to gloat. Mom stayed quiet, her hands fidgeting. Maybe she felt guilty for backing Emily all those years. Sophie's presence shook them. Guests fawned over her, asking about me. He's a genius, she said, loud enough for Emily to hear. Emily's face soured. Chris's grip on his drink tightened. I met Anna, a wedding guest and local artist, at the bar. You seem ready for something big, she said, her smile warm. Big? I was done playing small. The reception was electric, the resort's ballroom glowing with candles. Emily glowed in her gown, Chris smirking in his tux, thinking they'd won. Sophie and I walked in, my suit sharp, her dress stealing the room. Guests whispered, Who's that couple? Emily's smile faltered. Chris's champagne glass froze. Tom texted, Own it! Rachel's slideshow, my penthouse deals, Sophie's Paris shots, was ready. The MC called for toasts. Emily nodded at me, expecting me to shrink. I stood, my heart racing, slideshow cued. To Emily and Chris, I started, my voice steady but my hands sweaty, and to new beginnings. I clicked the projector, a Forbes cover flashing. Noah Carter, 32, builds $1 million firm. Gasps rippled. My company's worth $15 million, I said, showing a $5 million Google deal. Emily's jaw dropped. Chris froze. I kept going. My penthouse, skyline views. No cubicle here, I said, eyeing Chris. My Tesla, my TED Talk with 2 million views. This is my small-time life, I smirked. Sophie stood beside me, radiant. Meet Sophie Hayes, my fiancée, Paris Fashion Week star. Guests clapped, stunned. I turned to Emily. Your loft? A rental, $60,000 in debt. I showed her credit report. Her face reddened. Chris's firm? Under fraud investigation, I said, flashing a news clip. The room buzzed, cousins whispering. Emily stood, trembling. You're lying, she screamed. Chris snapped, This is our day. Our day? You invited me to gloat, I said, calm. I'm sharing my truth. Emma stammered, Noah, stop. Stop. They'd mocked me. Dad stood, fuming. Enough, Noah, Mom teared up, silent. A cousin muttered to Chris, You're a fake. Fake? Damn right. I closed the slideshow. Congrats, Emily, I said, raising my glass. Live your truth. Sophie and I walked out, guests applauding, Emily sobbing, Chris glaring. Tom met us outside, roaring, You buried them. Rachel texted, Iconic. I posted the Forbes article online, My Unambitious Life. It exploded. Friends, clients, even Emily's guests sharing it. Emma DM'd, I didn't know, Noah. Didn't know. She'd laughed in my face. A year later, my life's untouchable. New York's my home. Hustle, lights, the pulse of the city. I'm 33, my firm now valued at $50 million, advising Amazon and more. Sophie's Milan runway sold out, our Hamptons beach house alive with love. Driftwood furniture, her sketches on the walls, waves crashing outside. Emily's attempt to dim me failed. Her perfect life with Chris crumbled, and I'm soaring. Emily's world fell apart fast. Tom heard she fled to a small Jersey town, working retail, her loft dreams gone. Her social media job tanked after her debt surfaced. She emailed, Noah, I'm sorry, I was jealous. Help me. Sorry? She'd set me up to gloat. I showed Sophie, who shook her head. She's broken. Keep shining. No reply. Chris's firm collapsed, fraud charges sticking. He's a mall security guard now, $100,000 in debt. He texted, You ruined me, Noah. Ruined? He'd mocked my empire. I blocked him. Dad and Mom reached out. Dad wrote, We're sorry, son. We backed Emily. Backed her? They doubted me. Focus on yourselves, I replied. Mom called, teary. We're proud, Noah. Proud? Too late. Emma showed up at my office, apologetic. I misjudged you. Misjudged? She'd laughed with them. I nodded, kept distance. Wedding guests messaged, You're a legend, Noah. Legend? I'd always been true. My crew, Sophie, Tom, Rachel, Anna, was gold. Tom threw our wedding bash on our beach, Sophie dazzling. You owned them, he said, raising a glass. Rachel led a $20 million client pitch with me, toasting, To Kings. Anna, the artist, joined our charity with Sophie, saying, Your family. Family, not blood, but loyalty. I forgave the doubters, kept my circle tight. Emily's last try was a post. Noah sabotaged my life. Sabotaged? She'd invited me to flex. It flopped. Comments shredded her. You mocked a billionaire? She vanished online. Chris's final email begged, Man to man, help me out. Man? He'd spat on me. I trashed it. Their lives stalled, their lies burning every bridge. I didn't gloat. Much. They earned it. Sophie and I sat in our Hamptons home, stars above, waves crashing. You rewrote their story, she said, her hand in mine. Rewrote? I lived mine. Emily and Chris thought they'd dim me, steal the spotlight. They learned. Smugness costs everything. I didn't just outshine them, I built a dynasty. Sophie's my fire, my home, my truth. I'm Noah Carter, entrepreneur, survivor, limitless, and I wouldn't change a thing.